All right, so this is last week, July 13th to 19th. I think it's a better place, like I said on the last call. I think we should do debt first because this is big picture, and then we kind of work our way this way and get into the details of why.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we said, the past 2 weeks it climbed quite a bit, and then this week, for all practical purposes, is $1,000. We didn't really make any progress, so it's kind of a flat line, which is, this trajectory, this nice solid trajectory, and then this up in the middle of the month is normal, but then it went up again, and then it kind of stayed normal. Whereas you look at like the trajectory past months, and it's going down after it jumps
Mm-hmm.
up. Um, so no real progress, and I'm feeling it too. I can feel everything we do. You look at the credit card and the bank account. You're like, oh shit, we're not really. You can just see it. It's a cash flow. You can see on a weekly basis. A big part of it last week, and I emailed Arij about it, is that we paid a $5,000 diversified bill last week too. So I think we're just getting hit real hard with, and then we had the insurance, and we had the truck vinyl, which they did credit us back for the double truck vinyl, but we still paid for one of the vinyls. We should also it's going to be a short-term savings not having Noah, because we don't have to pay a mechanic. We're not buying parts, but we're really just delaying that expense because
Yeah.
it's just be deferred maintenance we're going to end up having, or it's going to be buried into our charge rate if we are having Zach help in the garage, because he's going to be non-billable and it's going to drag down our rates a little bit.
Yeah.
Did he start on that last week in the garage, or is he starting this week?
Talking about Mark.
I thought it was Zach. You said is working in the garage.
Zach hasn't done much garage work this week. He's doing some garage work today, but mostly billable stuff this week.
Gotcha. Like this? You mean this current week or the week on here?
That week there, I think he may have helped Noah one day, but I think most of his stuff that week was billable.
Okay. So revenue a little short, job hours short. We've already discussed this. We think we overshot the target for July. Charge rate much higher. So we came pretty close in the margin, but it's been four, just off the top of my head, maybe 4 weeks, 4 to 5
Yeah.
weeks we've been short on the margin, which that's part of the cash flow thing too. We've actually been short, not just a cash flow problem. You know what I'm saying? Been a little
Sure.
short. Overhead recovery is stayed the same. So if I change this, so last week we were 9% behind for the time of the year. This is expected to be high, but it should be closing in because we weren't billing in January and February. We should be closing this in. So 45 and 54, we stayed the same, no change, and that's showing the same on our debt basically too, right? Another thing to consider is that on Arisha's report here, we produced about 34 grand, right? But we only got paid 19 grand. So some of that was from project work that we got deposit for. Discounts, this is just kind of makes our revenue fake. We didn't really get that revenue because we discounted $500, right? And really made like 33,800. Unbilled work from package clients. This is just package clients that obviously get the first of the month. We see that cash flow, but we don't have the rest of the month, so that gets taken off. So we did that seems a little higher than normal. I think we might have done more gardening or something, like package clients work, I'm guessing. Does that sound right? My assumption.
I don't know if we did more gardening.
Well, we would have been mowing their lawns last week, but what else would we be doing package work wise?
Yeah, it would be those two things, right? Mowing and gardening. So yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, so maybe some more gardening. Mowing stayed the same, right? So gardening's the only thing that could change. Yeah. And receivables, I just asked to read on this, the $3 grand that we have outstanding. So that's presumably cash we should see in the account, but we're not seeing. I asked her. We have we have some commercial accounts, and then this guy was a big project that's paying like $3 grand. And then we're out in this recording anyway. Yeah, and then 53. and then and then these are just like contract clients. So that's what's making up this money we didn't get that we actually billed out.
Right.
Win rate was higher last week. Charge rates. So everyone's all the Mo crews are these guys have been pretty consistent. They're beating budget hours, which they absolutely should. And I would just guess off the top of my head, they should probably beat it by more than 4 hours, but we don't really have a good way to track that. If we were to actually lay out how long things take this time of year versus other times of year. But they are exceeding budget hours, right? Green is also exceeding budget hours, and then Maroon Crew, which you handled last week, is obviously still exceeding budget hours, which has been ongoing. We're beating over, I'm so sick of talking about, but we're addressing it. So that would explain, their charge rate should be up here with these guys probably.
Yep.
Orange Crew beat his hours. Good charge rate there. I didn't really see any expenses over here. I don't think, did I? No, I think it was a project expense. So Orange has $8, yeah, so not much in there. Red Crew the charge rate is dropping a little bit, but they went up. If you scroll over to Red Crew down here. Yeah, so Red Crew dropped last week, but then they've been pretty consistently close to 90, right? And then these bigger projects in the springtime, they were getting better rates. It was a little bit higher. But they did 10 grand, so now they're still back to about double and a halfing. That's what they've been doing revenue-wise for the Mo crews. Yeah, I mean the real money producers here are these projects and the and lawn care, right?
That's right. Yeah,
so
we know that.
no surprise there. But stuff we should be pushing, we still gotta do this stuff, but I'm just saying, like, this is what's really, these crews are the ones that are really pulling in the revenue, like, the higher charge rates and more hours too.
Well, that's why we're running ads for projects and lawn care, right? It just makes sense. And packages, right? Like, I always try to get people on recurring packages, but lawn care is always my number one priority. Super high value work, super valuable recurring work, and projects. Yeah, huge. So we should always be pushing
that. Kevin, and then it's our bread and butter, the mowing and the gardening, right? Like, we're not killing it here, but it's easy, right? You just dispatch the jobs. You don't really have to send quotes. You just do it week after week after week. It's kind of the same with gardening. Kevin's out, one-man crew, not producing crazy revenue, but if we were just only do, projects and FERT, our revenue would be less than half than what it is. So we do still need the bread and butter work too.
Mowing's our biggest moneymaker. We get $500,000 a year from mowing lawns. Lowest value service, most revenue.
Biggest revenue generator. I wouldn't say it's our biggest. It's a smaller margin we're making, but we're doing a lot more revenue. It's like a volume thing, right?
Volume, yeah. Low value service, high revenue. It's weird.
Recurring gardening. So just Kevin alone, but if you were double his hours, he'd be at $5,000 right with these guys. But they don't have all the equipment, which is nice, right? I mean, he was driving around way too nice of a truck when he needs to be pulling weeds, but in terms of like his overhead that comes with that crew, it's very minimal. It's just like a pair of pruning shears, and then for some reason, an $80,000 truck. But outside of that, not much. So it's just an hours game. We're doing great here, but we just don't have enough work. Is what it comes down to. Enough guys working, not billing enough hours. But we're still making up for it because we got a good rate, but we're not quite making up for it. So if we could squeak the rate a little higher or get a couple more hours in there, we'd be hitting this pretty easily. We've been hanging right in there. We haven't been like tremendously short. We've just been a little bit short, and it's because we're like demolishing our charge rate. Right.
So yeah. So here, so you're right. So we can certainly have a big week, but it'll empty out the waiting list, and there'll be nothing for next week. And honestly, I'd rather come up a little short, $3,000 short, but know we have work for next week, and work keeps coming in. But if I booked everything for this week, we'd have a huge week, and then I'd be looking at next week for 15 hours for Red Crew. Not a good place to be.
So I don't want to do that. But or we can get more work, right? But it's easier said than done. We're not exhausting all revenue channels. All marketing channels, but the other ones are less return, right? It's like the AdWords. We can pay for other stuff. It's going to cost us more. We're going to get less out of it. But, like we say, direct mail doesn't work, but I think it's just like, it's a combination of everything. It's just another touch point, but it is very expensive. So I don't know. They have this QR code thing I've been messing around with RBS. Now when they scan a QR code on a postcard, I change out all the QR codes. But now they have a thing in SendJim that if you scan a QR code, it'll tell you it was scanned. So you can kind of connect the lead to the postcard better. But I bet some of these people, I mean, we still are. Oh, that's another thing we're doing with RBS. Another reason, we're making, like, my point is we could be like pocketing some of that money, but instead we're spending postcards and outbound calls on Jared doing stuff. Like, we could just be chilling and we'd be making a good chunk of change if we just didn't, we cut some of that marketing overhead, but then also we probably wouldn't have some of the clients we had if we weren't sending all this outbound emails and, and postcards and everything else year round, So anyway, we probably could do stuff like that. But also we're trying to follow a budget, and I once I talk with Sean and we'll have June numbers, which are finally going to be a little useful because June's like a busy month. We'll know where we stand in the marketing budget, but I just based on our trajectory there, I think we might be a little more than we planned on, because we got the vinyl we put in, so we might be a little over budget as it stands. So I don't know, we should go dumping a bunch of money into postcards,
You're talking about 855 postcards?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we're short on work, right? We're short on hours. You're telling me that because we gotta basically ration the work because there's not enough, right? So if we want to get the hours up, we'd have to get more work, right? So we'd have to market more. How else do you get more work? And then we have to spend more money. But I'm saying it's not in our budget right now.
Anthony's making calls. Anthony's making calls. He's having way better luck with that. I think he's put in 11 and a half hours. He's on like the H's of the client list. Way more leads produced from that than any postcard campaign.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, while we're on the topic, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as marketing channels, we're doing everything. I can't think of anything else that we're not doing, aside from door hanging, knocking on doors. But we did that. We didn't have much luck with it. So if you can think of anything else,
I think that a lot of it's that ongoing stuff, and we're also not doing any postcards or mailings or anything. So there's always more stuff that could be done. But
sure. I see your point.
Yeah, but I think those calls are great because I think it's an even better plan because we're keeping our costs the same, but we're increasing our marketing output by having Anthony make those calls, right? So we're not spending more money, but we get more marketing out there. Another thing, I dragged this goal sheet to the beginning because it's really, I was just looking at this again, like we're probably going to hit somewhere in this 1.5 to 2 million, but I know we discussed this at least one other time this year, but we didn't look at this when we set our goals, I guess, because we planned 10%, but our overall goals say 20%. So we asked for 10, right? So just want to reflect on that. Yeah, so I mean, pretty clear. We're addressing, we're narrowed in on. I think the takeaways here are get more work if we can, right? And fixing, optimizing. That's what we've kind of been doing these past 2-3 weeks, optimizing the crews we do have, and now we're narrowing in on Maroon crew, trying to get them up to speed. But yeah, and it should, we should make up for it. I mean, we're setting ourselves back, we're setting ourselves in a little debt, I guess, figuratively and literally. We're just not getting anywhere, right? The past 2-3 weeks, or this past week, we didn't get anywhere. We just kind of stayed in the position. And the week before, we kind of lost some ground. So, but we do have, as we look forward, and if we think we overestimated these July hours, August hours we have set exactly the same, but a lower charge rate. So even if we do even if August we overshot the hours, if we can still hold an 82 charge rate, we're going to demolish this because it's even $11 lower than the previous week, right?
Yeah. So August should be our big makeup month, right? As we start to get more.
Yeah, we got to make up for it. Yeah. Yeah, because we got to keep that traction. We had some real traction going here, right? We're boom, 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 boom. There's really nice seeing that every week, and that's like like that doesn't feel good, right? So we want to keep this traction we got going here. And because we're on a really good path overall, and now just these past 3 weeks, this one's kind of normal. It just jumped more than normal, but we get the first of the month payments in, and all of our bills come out. That's the way the payments are set up. The rent, the loan payments, they all come out right after that. So when she does this on the second of the month, we just got the first of the month payments in. We're loaded, right? And then we pay out all these bills, and we're back up here. But then this is what's unusual. These past 2 weeks is what's unusual. It's slow, We've been a little short on the margin. Yeah, and we paid a bunch of big bills.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we stand.
Okay.
Is there anything notable in the waste log here? 76712. That's what we're looking at, right? Just have to make. Oh,
Nope.
so she didn't fill it out last week, so we don't have the information there.
Useless.
All right, I just texted her about it, so we'll check out the way, I guess both weeks waste logs next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Yep. So quickly, yeah, I got like 15 minutes before I got to jump on with Sean. It's usually late anyway.
Yeah.
So I just cleaned up my emails from when I was away. Let's share our thoughts and decide about a consultant. I pulled this from an email you sent to me in response to something. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, we're talking about incurring debt, not having revenue up. Should we really be talking about spending money on a consultant right now? Probably not.
We could plan on it for next year.
Yeah. All right. We can table that, I think, for when the time's appropriate.
Okay. All right. So consultant. I'll just add a Trello for that for this winter.
Sure.
I was reading the review from
Jack.
From who?
Jack.
Jack. Yeah. Jack seems like he's pretty smart.
Smart guy. Rich kid.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't have to work, but he's a hard worker. He knows how to work, and he's good, man. Yeah, the guy's solid for sure, no doubt.
He's fast. I always judge people just by how fast they move in the morning at the shop. You know, like you can tell the hustlers. Like Jack's always moving and hustling. The last Fert guy too. What was his name again? Chris.
Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar.
He moves fast. Like you could just tell. Like honestly, when you go to hire someone, if the guy just kind of strolls over to you, you know he's gonna be fucking slow. You know, but if the guy's like he's on a mission and he's focused, and he's like, all right, what's up, Steve? You know, nice to meet you. A lot of high energy. I mean, right there, it's like it's gonna tell you how they're gonna work. Like first impression when you freaking interview someone, if they move fast or slow, you know. But you can kind of tell the hustlers, people are deliberate, have fast paced, high energy, you know.
Yep. Could be a little more knowledgeable. So here's what was happening, especially when things were busy back in like May or June. So the guys were calling Ant, and they're like, "Hey, I got a question about this." And Ant's like, "I don't know. I didn't book the job. I don't do lawn care." You know how frustrating is that for a new guy? You know, so we had a conversation with Ant. I'm like, "Hey, man, like you need to learn this stuff. Like learn it. You know, like look at the job, look at the pictures, figure it out, and then let them know. Don't just say, 'Hey, I don't know,' because they're calling you for an answer. So maybe just say, 'Hey, I'll get back to you on it,' but fucking figure it out, dude."
It's those walls. I'm talking about those walls that that people hit, and they're just like, I don't know, like bust through the wall. You know, that's how you get things done.
Well, as a manager, no, you're right. And as a manager, like you shouldn't be telling people, "I don't know." At the very least, say, "Hey, I'll find out and get back to you." Right?
Exactly. Totally. Yeah.
So
I'm not sure I hit this wall. I'm going to figure out a way around it.
Yep. And I've already told Ant to sign up for the pesticide test a few times. He hasn't done it yet, so I'm going to remind him right now.
Yeah.
Hey, today may be a slow day. Please sign up for the pesticide test, or have Melissa do that for you. I think I've already asked for that. Thank you.
Yeah. So this highlights kind of like lack of training too. Like if Ant's gonna be around this winter too, we should probably start to invest something in him. Like, you know, get him. I know it's an ongoing thing, training, right? But like maybe he needs to work a little bit with Jack to learn how fertilizing works. You know, because you can't manage someone if you've never done the job before.
Yeah. You're right. Yep.
So he needs training. Jack's saying right here, he just doesn't know about this stuff.
That's right.
And maybe Jack's calling him because Jack doesn't know, and then Ant also doesn't know. But how you learn? Like I used to go into Alan Seed all the time and just pick those guys' brains and just ask them questions, like because I didn't go to school for it or anything, and I'm still no expert, but I know a thing or two just because I just would always ask questions and learn and go to people who have more information than you. So like, yeah, right. If Jack calls him, he's like, "Hey, this product, you're allowed to put it down in this certain situation," and say Anderson like, "I don't know, I don't do lawn care." Like he should call Alan Seed and ask the same question, and then give Jack the answer. You know,
and they both learn instead of bothering me.
Exactly. The next time you know, and it wouldn't hurt for him to go out there and fert some lawns himself, though, if he doesn't have experience in that part of landscaping. You know.
You're right. Ant's resistant to learning new things because I feel like he, like most people, gets comfortable with doing things a certain way. The first step would be to like get pesticide certified, because he'll learn a lot there. And then go out with Jack for a day, and that may solve a lot of the problems. But you're exactly right. Like, people have to be willing to learn new things and try new things.
Yeah.
Getting him on Calendly was a bit of a struggle, but we finally did it. And he was a bit resistant to it. But that told me that he's just resistant to learning new things.
Yeah. Well, I think this just highlights, training. Ant needs more training, and we know that, but it just highlights, it'd be nice to have, I mean, even our guys, like, I know we do some training sessions and stuff, but that's going to become like a bigger issue as we grow too. Like a lot more new guys coming in, a lot more training, and everything should be standard. Not this guy comes, he does it this way, and that guy comes, he does it that way.
Yep.
And it's going to help with retention too, because people want to feel good about what they're doing and know they're doing it the right way. I thought this was this would be nice. I'm just thinking about myself personally. I generally look at my stuff the night before, because I kind of want to know what my day looks like, so I can mentally plan. And Jack, seeing that he's like an efficient, fast worker and a smart dude, I'm assuming that's what this comment is about, that he wants to be able to kind of plan his day better. And if it's not set till the morning of, he just kind of shows up a little kind of disorganized and kind of not knowing what's up. So I can see his point there. I also understand why that's difficult. I mean, it really should be done the night before. I mean, with the mokers and stuff, when the route's not done yet, it is hard to get it done the night before, right?
The route is done the night before. The jobs are dispatched. It's just not put in order. So Jack's coming in. Jack, a reach comes in at 6:30 or whatever, 7, and she starts putting things in order. And Jack logs in, and then he has to refresh, and he sees a different route. It's in different order. And yesterday she put things backwards. I had her change it, which isn't a big deal. Things change last second, but he just wants to see his route in order when he comes in the morning. So everything's always dispatched. We're not dispatching jobs that day. I mean, in some cases I may, but it's just not in order. And he's having to refresh his app and see it in a different order.
For a reason, at 6:30, the order should be set by the time Jack gets there at 7, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, the guy's making a claim, and I've seen it happen a couple of times. Rather than get down to the nitty and gritty, if he's going to do his own routing, he can just set it up for himself the night before and route it too, right? He's going to be in charge of that. She doesn't have to do it anymore. He's doing his own dispatching now, so he can do that the night before. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, I thought that's a great idea. And also the fact that it's very interesting that he is interested in doing that, because it kind of shows he has more skills than just, jumping in the truck and following a preset. Like, he wants to think. He likes the idea of planning his own day.
I told him initially that the goal, July and August, and I set the time expectation that by July and August, he would be trained on the dispatch board to do his own routing, and he would be doing the ordering from Target. So I hadn't had him order from Target yet. So 2 weeks ago, he sent me a text and he said, "Hey, Steve, when can I start ordering from Target?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a great sign. The guy wants more responsibility.
Yeah.
He wants to have more hands-on what he's doing." So I said, "That's great." All right, so now he's doing the ordering. He's got Mike Santos' number. He's our guy. And him and I did training last Friday for dispatch, and we sat down yesterday and did more dispatch board training. So the guy's asking for more work and responsibility.
I love that. And that shows a lot. The fact that he followed up with you on it is huge, because you want people who are going to follow up with people, right? Because
totally.
So I'm wondering, just even beyond that, like, what is he capable of contributing? He's obviously capable of being more than just a fertilizer spreader.
Probably sales, right? Sales and management. He's going to have to hire a guy below him. He's going to train that guy, and he can sell lawn care.
Yeah, and people like that too. Like, people are really motivated. They don't want to be in a dead end and not feel like they're fully utilizing it. Like, look at you. Like, you were bored at your last company, right? There was no opportunity there, and then you left. Like, and so that's the people we want. If we don't provide the opportunity, we're gonna lose someone awesome. So, I'm not saying Jack is or isn't the guy, but just some of these signs are very promising. Like,
he's hungry. Yeah, it's super promising. When he reached out to me for more work, I was like, wow, nobody does that.
Yeah, right.
But he's the kind of guy who wants to feel valued and important.
Yeah, so I would nurture that for sure.
Yep,
like,
totally.
I mean, not necessarily diving into it because we want to make sure he's going to be around, because he's still pretty new, but we want to make sure there's opportunity there for him, because he's going to be happy, and we're just going to fully utilize his value.
That's kind of the reason why I've sort of taken Jack under my wing, and I haven't really been like too upset about him asking me things, because I feel like if he's getting this kind of response from Ant, it's probably not good that he reaches out to Ant for now. and I can keep this guy happy and knowledgeable and trained in the meantime. So that's kind of why I'm not too upset about Jack. But if I had other guys calling me with issues, I'd say that's Ant's thing. But Jack, I've sort of taken under my wing to nurture a bit more, because I feel like he's important long term, and we need to retain him.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with babysitting Jack for now.
Yeah.
Till I don't have to.
Okay. Yeah, because Anyway, I think he's good, and we should pay attention to that.
Agreed.
If you know more than I do about him, but just some of those things that I've seen are positive. That he moves quick, he's motivated. You can even tell in like the RBS videos he made. He's like talking to the camera. He's not just standing there like he's busy. He wants to get shit done. So he doesn't want to stop. And then these other things highlighting initiative. He's giving initiative, and he's also following up. Like those are very valuable qualities.
He got those 10 leads from that marketing blitz. Remember that day I sent the guys out?
Too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd say we should keep definitely give him his attention, nurture him, make sure he has what he needs, and keep feeling him out.
Yep.
And see where we can utilize. I just asked him, like, where do you think? Do you want to keep doing fertilizing? Do you want to do something else? Where do you think you'd excel? With positions we have now. Maybe he loves marketing, and hey, we need marketing done right now, right?
I think he enjoys driving in a truck by himself, fertilizing lawns. Honestly, I think he enjoys that, and I think he would enjoy having a guy work under him, and I think he would enjoy training that guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Essentially, right, I want the fur division to essentially run on its own, like the garage. I want to have very little oversight on it. I want a guy who's just going to do shit and not be babysat.
Yep.
That's my goal.
All right. So the only thing I added on here, which we don't have time for right now, is going through the unbillable time. But like I said, when I was digging through stuff too, this charge right here, we're never hitting them right here, even in July. And the reason is because we have much more unbillable time than we planned on for the year. The average drive time was what I say, 7 hours with and with two. This is for one man, so two man's like 14 hours on average for the Mo crews, and we ran out Randy's. It was like 30 hours. So that's double the unbillable time there, and that's why we can't reach. That's why we can't reach that 81, because that drive time is much higher than what it was previous years, right? But last year,
don't you think Maroon Crew's holding us back too with their tons of unbillable?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But they'd be closer, but they still wouldn't be hitting 81 either. I'm modeling it off of someone who, Blue Crew did the best, right? They should be, if they exceeded budget hours. This has been like a puzzle all year. I've been trying to figure out like why these guys exceed budget hours, they still don't hit 81, right? Because this is our target. If they meet budget hours, they should hit 81, right? The reason why they're not, even though they're exceeding it, they're still at 72.
42% unbillable.
Yeah, the plan here is to have 14 hours of drive time. And we had 30, so they're never going to get it.
Never.
So yeah, that means probably we need to at least address it in our billing for next year, right? If we're going to have 30% unbillable and we want to hit 81, then we'll need to adjust the pricing accordingly. But the same token, the reason why this is working out, these charge rates, is because we based it on last year, right? I mean, maybe that's why we're sticking out loud, but these charge rates are based on last year, and then upped, I think, for the price increase that we did. So regardless of what we're charging by crew, this is like overall what our target was, what we reached. This is based on last year, and these are based. Okay, that's what it is. These are based on, these charge rates here are based on paper what they should be able to get, but whereas our monthly is based on actually what we accomplished last year, right? So on paper, this isn't accurate because our for this year, because our unbillable time's higher. So when we're trying to benchmark these guys against what they should make, they'll never hit it because there's too much driving there. So I had to reach on, and I've been reminding her about Trello, tagging her again, what's going on with this, but we did the off route mows, but we didn't do fertilizing. and get attacked. We didn't check for out fertilizing, and we should be doing this monthly all along, but it wasn't getting done. So now I'm out of micromanaging it, and we're going to review it here each month, which we'll do it for July when July is over. But she only has mowing here. There's a separate Trello card for fertilizing, which we need to check those too, to see if we're doing people way off route. But yeah, there's more drive time. We're going further this year than we have. We definitely want to. We have a plan for this. Is my point. Like we're gonna have to give 3 months. If we don't fill in, we close shop in that area and boot the clients in those areas, or raise the price to a point where it financially makes sense. But if we fill in, if we're driving a little bit further, if we densify those areas, it shouldn't change your unbillable time that much, because we drive up to North Providence and we're there all day, so just change a little bit further, 10 more minutes of a drive to get there, but then we have full density there instead of driving this huge route around the state in one day.
I feel like Red Crew can take like the outliers and they can market in those areas, and we can really tighten up the mowing crews, because now we're down to like 2.5 mowing crews, right? I laid a guy off. Who knows? Maybe we can even lay off one more guy. But maybe just have Red Crew take those stragglers, and I can put projects on in those areas, and it'll take those outliers off the mowing crews routes. Does that make sense?
There you go.
So I did that
now that you mentioned that, look, these guys are only working 33 hours, and it's going to pick up again. But I think you're doing the right thing. We laid off a guy. We're consolidating, but like, honestly, 2 crews can do 2.5 crews work, and they just be working like they were in the spring, right? And now the unbillable time's down, less miles in the equipment, but that would bring the unbillable time down. Take 2.5 crews turn to 2, and now these guys are making more money. But then that's not really a big longer term plan, because come in a couple months we're going to need 2.5 crews again, right? Because it's going to take longer. So it's not really that sustainable.
We can rehire, get Jose back, and hire another guy if we have to. But for now,
we could lay the guys off. Yeah, we could lay the guys off and get them back again. There's a chance we'd lose them, but probably not for a month.
Yeah.
But if that's what happens to them every year, they get laid off in July. They're probably not gonna. They may not want a job like that, for the following years.
We're always gonna have a couple of guys who are just like not valuable players. Guys we can lay off.
Yeah,
we can always hire a couple more non-valuable players to sort of fill their spot. And,
that's gonna bring our charge rates up and our unbillable time down. If we were to consolidate, altogether these guys are working. If we do 66 plus 67 plus 75, altogether they're working 208 hours. So say they work 50 hours. It's 2 crews, right? It's 200, right? Yeah. So if we had 2 crews of 2 working 50 hours instead, then they'd get all the work done, and it would take them even less time, because they're spending less time driving, and it's not going to take the same number of hours. That's why our rate would go up, because they're spending less time driving, more time working if they're working 50 hours, because they're up in the area longer.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to take as many hours in general. That's exactly why the rate goes up, because it's going to take them less time. They'll be up there longer, doing more work, and these guys can get a bunch of overtime. So our core guys that you're not laying off are going to make a lot more money, and the company's going to make more money.
Yep.
So definitely something to consider, right? Hey, didn't we have a one-man mow crew as an experiment? We've experimented this before. I'm telling you, it's a better rate. Much better. We did rate when we do a one-man mow crew.
We know that. Randy did it once or twice this year and last year, and his charge rate was huge. He crushed it. And then Oswaldo was mowing alone last year, and he had a great charge rate because he flies through lawns too. Yeah. So I'm convinced. I think we can mow. I think we can mow 5 days a week with 2 one-man crews and 1 2-man crew, and maybe have Red Crew take the outliers.
Yeah, so as long as that's sustainable for longer term, in the short term, we're going to it's just like the diversification thing. We can cash in when one-man crews more vulnerable. We're not ready for later on in the year. But if we can solve that puzzle, we know if there's ever an opportunity to run a one-man crew, we're going to fucking crush it. It's just not. It's all in. That guy quits, you're done. We don't have a mow. We're down an entire mow crew. So it's that diversification thing. But I like your idea of splitting them off. But I have to run because I have to jump on this call with Sean.
All right, I'll think about this and figure something out.
Yeah. All right, good talk, though, and I'll follow up on all those things we discussed.
Sounds good, man.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yep.